Today we've got some roast meat takeout. So hi guys, this is the takeout version of our roast meat video for today. As you've seen, I've got on one side the char siu and roast goose. On the other side, we've got the crispy pork and the soy chicken. Both boxes come with rice, of course, on the bottom with the meat sauce, some vegetables on the side, and then a bit of like the spring onion condiments, which adds a bit of savoriness. So let's try this out now, shall we? Let's start with the char siu. Now the char siu looks a bit lean compared to some places which have a bit more fat, but it has got that nice glaze, that nice sweet sauce. So let's try this out. Yeah, like I said, it's very lean. So because of how lean it is, it's almost a bit chewy compared to like if the char siu were having like more fatty ratio to it. But it's pretty good. You get that nice clean pork flavor, and then it has just that slight sweetness from that glaze. And I think the rice is coated in the same sauce as the char siu as well. So now let's try a piece of the roast goose. The roast goose is one of my favorite cuts in the Hong Kong roast meat category. So as you can see here, just a nice glistening skin. I don't think it's going to be super crispy, but it has that nice shine onto it, and then you can see under just that nice layer of the roast goose meat. So no plum sauce or anything with this, so it's just have it with like how it is. So here we go. Similar to the char siu, it is a bit lean in terms of the meat, not much fat except for the skin, but I think it is much it's a bit more tender compared to the char siu. So it has that nice juiciness which you want from the goose, but it's a bit, it's juicy but not overly juicy, not overly fatty, because when you have lean meat, it's not exactly the most flavorful. It's not exactly crispy, as I said, but it does have a bit of a crunch still. And the meat, of course, in the roast goose, it has that livery taste. I think if you observe, the roast goose sometimes has like a livery taste, but this one is a pretty good version. I just wish that probably a crispier skin and then a bit of more fat would be better, but for a takeout place, it is pretty good. So before we move on to box number 2, I actually want to try some of the rice. As you know, the rice is coated in a lot of the meat sauce, just drippings and all. So here we go. It's nice, shiny, a bit of oil onto it. So here we go. Let's try this. Yeah. Not overly salty, just a bit of savoriness. Of course, the juiciness from all that meat. It always goes nice on top of some white rice, and that's the essence of this roast meat takeout box, where they also like scoop on some sauce for you on the rice before they put on the meat. It's a very nice touch for me. And they've got these spring onions also. These are quite salty. Usually you'd add them on like chicken, or chicken usually, but even this box without the chicken has it, so I'm just try to have it with the rice. Here we go. Yeah, it is quite salty, so I guess balance it out with the rice or some pieces of meat. It is pretty good. It's a nice touch as well. So now let's move on to box number 2. I think I've spotted a nice piece of crispy pork belly here. Yeah, this looks much crispier compared to the roast goose skin, and it's got a bit more fat to it as well. There's a nice layer of fat and then lean meat towards the bottom. So let's try this one. Crunchy. Yeah, definitely got a bit more crunch to it. The skin is definitely crispy, and I love the bit of fattiness when it comes to the pork belly, because it just makes the slice less one-dimensional. It gives that nice fattiness and juiciness, and then get the lean meat, of course, as well. Quite salty, but you know, crispy pork belly is usually one of the saltier cuts in roast meat of Hong Kong. So we've got one more meat to try, and that is the soy chicken. There's a piece of the soy chicken. There is a bit of bones, I guess, and then like some people are like, sometimes they're worried about like the dried up blood, but usually that's just safe to eat. So I think this is the one which really needs the spring onion topping. So I'll put this also on top, not too much because it is quite salty. Here, let's give this a go. Yeah, I think the spring onion topping really goes well with it because the chicken is not overly flavorful at all. Just marinated in soy sauce, but it's not overly savory, not overly powerful. So yeah, with the saltiness of the spring onions, it goes very well together. And by the way, these two boxes are just from my wet market nearby. The name is Sunmon Ki, and yeah, they sell these at a very affordable price. I believe each box is around 40 Hong Kong dollars for 2 toppings, that is. And yeah, a pretty good version of roast meat in Hong Kong. I'm impressed with the quality for takeout place like this. So I think now it's time to see how the restaurant compares. So I'm gonna take you there right now. So for the restaurant comparison of the roast meat, I'm just here at my local joint. I'm not actually sure what the name is. There seem to be like several names around the menu and outside the restaurant, but what I've got for now is my classic roast goose on rice. So you have it right here. It's really delectable looking, lots of roast goose they give you. And it comes with some sauce on the rice and a little bit of vegetables, and of course a plum sauce. Just to serve the plum sauce on the side. And actually really nice of them is that they give you free soup on the side. So there's some Chinese soup. Like I guess there's gonna be ginseng and pork bone in it. Very typical ingredients of a Chinese soup. So I think I'll just start the meal by having a bit of soup to warm the stomach. It's very warm and herbal tasting. Really opens the appetite actually. It's quite enticing. I like it. There's also some bits of like pork bone and vegetable in here. It's just nice that they give you soup on the side. I don't know many restaurants which give soup on the side, so. But of course the main attraction I'm here for is the roast goose rice. So they give you a lot of roast goose at the top. So this is just one piece of the roast goose here. And as you can see, the skin is just separating from the meat and the fat, which is in the pieces of roast goose as well. And underneath, you can really see the meat sauce which is poured onto the rice. And I think I'll start with a piece of the roast goose first, looking for a juicy morsel here. I think I'll start with this piece because the skin is just separating already. I'll try the piece of the meat first. I think there's a bone underneath, so might need to just try. With the bone, but I think the bone provides a lot of juice and fat to the meat on top. Because it's a very juicy roast goose. It's lots of fat to it, lots of flavor. And yeah, I'm actually quite surprised by how good it is. Try some of the rice with the sauce on top. The sauce just provides that extra fragrance on the rice. It complements very well. I think this is standard in a roast meat rice bowl. It's very standard to put some meat sauce on the top. Now we have a piece of the goose skin here. Let's try this out. It's very fatty, very oily. That's just the roast goose skin goodness which we all crave for when we order roast goose. It's always nice to chase it with some rice to cut a bit of the fat down, but there is still some oiliness in the rice because of the sauce. It really goes well together. Try this next piece with some of the plum sauce. It's a very customary topping or complement to roast goose. Provide a bit of sweetness and stickiness. Try this out. It's sort of a sharp contrast to the savoriness and oiliness of the meat. You have the stickiness and sweetness from the plum sauce, but you know, it's a very traditional topping. It goes really well together, and they're put together for a reason. That's the reason why. Next up is some iced milk tea, which comes along with the set. good old Hong Kong milk tea. Nothing wrong with that at all. So that's going to be a comparison for roast meat and takeout versus restaurant here in Hong Kong. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel and give us a like. And feel free to put anything in the comments down below. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos yet to come. We're gonna be releasing. I'll try to keep it weekly, but yeah, we'll see. So thank you once again. See you in the next video.